We'll take a look at the role of the police in the aftermath of the local government election in Rivers State and its role in also ensuring a peaceful atmosphere in the state. The president earlier this week directed parties to shun violence and instructed the Inspector General of Police to restore sanity in the state. Public Affairs Analyst Femi Lawson joins me advising from Lagos. It's good to have you join us on the news at this hour.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Lawson, we know the peculiarity of Rivers State. What would you say about the role of the police here? Are they really victims? Were they really neutral? Or they, to an extent, exacerbated the situation?
Thank you. You see, what happened in Rivers, particularly during the last, controversy around the local government election or not, is one of the very reasons why we have continued to ask that we insulate our institutions, particularly the security agencies, from the manipulation of politicians. What we saw in Rivers was an attempt to throw, to make a scapegoat out of the police, particularly the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kade Betuku. For those who may not be aware that factions in Rivers who are involved in the election or not, both went to court, got order and counter order, but in this regard, the police, is being made the scapegoat. And what do I mean? Politicians will go to court because they are practically turned our courts now to a market, that opens on a daily basis. They go to court, they get order. When police disobey the order, then they come back to say police is disobeying the order. The other faction also went to court and got an order, and what was the order that restrained the police, from participating in that election? The police didn't down tool. We all saw it on the day of election. The order basically restricted the police from playing a role in the election. A lot of people don't know that police actually play a role during the election by signing election results at polling units, by providing security within the perimeter of voting, even without being armed. That was a restriction placed on police, in Rivers State. Not that police were not, on ground to maintain law and order, across the state like we saw on that day. While the same side accusing the Inspector General also went the police to seek, to the court rather, to seek an order to compel the police to do its job. So you could see that these are just politicians, on both camps trying to make a scapegoat out of the police. And that is why we must do more now to insulate our institutions, not only the security agencies and even the judiciary, from this desperation of politicians. Because for anybody who may not be aware, I've known the Inspector General of Police for over 20 years through his political and professional career, even though I don't have a personal relationship with him. But I live in Lagos. I've seen him, as a young officer from Lagos. And it is on record, and it is a verifiable record in the public. I have not heard or seen.
All right, Mr. Lawson, from what you're telling me now, it seems you're trying to say the police are probably the victim here. But well, the whole essence of the police should have been to anticipate the situation, considering the political atmosphere ahead of the election. The police left after the swearing in of the new local government chairman. Doesn't this speak to, a failure in the area of crime anticipation and also its constitutional duty of protecting lives and property first?
The police eventually became vindicated because, when the police decided to take over the protection of this local government secretariat for the period that policemen were stationed, we were all here when, it looked like the police have taken over, have hijacked, local government secretariat and people are not having access, this and that. But the moment that agitation got to the point that the president have to ask, the Inspector General of Police, to leave, to ensure that his men provide security and, policemen were withdrawn from this county secretariat. We saw how, political thugs unleash, mayhem on some of these local government secretariat. Like I said, the police is only going to be made the scapegoat because politicians, when they are able to use it to their personal interest, the police is good, but when the police stand against whatever interest, it becomes the other side using the police from the perspective of politicians. We must see the police as an institution that we must protect as Nigerians and that must be held accountable to Nigerians, not to a faction of politicians or the other. And until we are able to do that, we may not, get out of this, situation where, politicians will now have to go to court and want to determine whether police should perform a statutory responsibility or not. Like I was saying, for anyone because a lot of fingers have been pointed at the Inspector General of Police. And people who knows his career, people who have followed everywhere he has served as a police officer, will know that this man is one of the most decent we have ever had in that hierarchy of the police in Nigeria. There are public records, and I'm not sure there has been any instances where Mr. Gbetoko has been a subject of controversy within the force until this very recent one that we are seeing in Rivers State.
Public Affairs Analyst Femi Lawson, thank you for joining us on the news this hour.
Thank you for having me.